Kick your shoes off, take a load off. Don't go nowhere till the show's off. Oh, you know it's gonna be a movie when you got Cletus Cassidy on your TV. Yeah, already know Mr. Funny Man. Coming to you and making you laugh again. Started off on the radio, now we got the Cletus Cassidy Show. Funny Man, coming to you and making you laugh again. Started off on the radio, now we got the Cletus Cassidy Show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody this morning? It is Wednesday. It's a hunch day. We get it in. It's all about hunching. Hunch, 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 hunch. Everybody, hunch, hunch, hunch. Okay. Welcome to another edition of See You in the Morning. I am, of course, your host, Cletus Cassidy. The host, not with the host with something. I did cough. I didn't even know that I was unmuted. I just started to cough out of nowhere. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Judge your Aunt Steven. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, man. If you're wondering what See You in the Morning is, See You in the Morning is my horrible idea to get up first thing every morning and around 7:15-ish put out way too much of my business. Just to tell y'all everything that's going on in my life, whether y'all want to hear it or don't want to hear it. I put it all out there, man, consistently. I have not taken a day off. That's probably part of the problem, part of what I need to do. I need to go ahead and take a day off. I need to. But I don't. But it's all good because I'm here for you guys. Now, if this is your first time hearing this, you're about to experience something so cold. If you watched this before and you decided, man, I'm going to come back and get another dose of it, man, I appreciate that, man. I really do. Man, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and get this show started, man. Wednesdays are a special day on this show. Wednesdays are like no other day. Wednesday is the nastiest day of the week, I think, because everybody tunes in. No matter how I try to keep the show PG, I can't find my phone. No matter how I try to keep the show PG on a Wednesday, it just ends up going left. So we'll see what happens today on this particular Wednesday, man. First thing I do on my show, man, if I ain't sleep with you, I'm gonna speak with you. So I try to speak to everybody on the show on Wednesdays. That's the first thing that I do. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, the first three people to speak, I get them little medals. Little medals. It's just like the Olympics. I give you a medal. And so let's go ahead and start by giving out medals. Winning the bronze this morning is Katrina Britt Reynolds. Good morning, Katrina, with the bronze. Winning the silver, the nastiest of all of us, Madam Nasty herself, Trouble, Marsha Copeland. And winning the gold is Crystal Tasty Panel. Crystal Tasty Panel. So that's what we got. Crystal Panel with the gold, Marsha Trouble Copeland with the silver, and Katrina with the bronze. Also here, man, always coming in fourth. I don't think he wants the medal. It's Denzel, the equalizer Glover. Then Lisa, Patricia Pippins in the building, Crystal Sex Appeal, the sheriff, Wilberta, Franita, Tanya, la 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 Barbara, la 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 Barbara. Keith is in here. Melissa Kuther, like Luther, is in the building. Everybody's in here, man. So I'm excited to see all of you all. Dolores, Roland Dolo Reyes is in the building. So happy to see her as well. So today, I know we usually talk about hunching on Wednesdays. And I know you nasty people love to talk about hunching. There's so many things about hunching you could talk about. It's odd that someone like myself, a virgin, has so many sex related conversations. Hey, Lasha Unda, how are you? I do think though we should talk more openly about it. I believe the great Negro poets Salt and Pepper had a song that said, "Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me." And as long as it's in grown folk conversation and it ain't got nothing, and I don't think it's nasty, no pedophilia, things of that nature. I think that what we've done on this show a lot of times is expose people to things that they wouldn't have known before. You know, um, we haven't gotten into some of the more taboo topics like getting ketchup on your hot dog, running the red light. We haven't discussed those kinds of things, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But today, I wanted to talk more about interpersonal relationships, romantic relationships, than I am about just straight on, as the great Negro poet Marvin Gaye said, "Let's get it on." Look, a little tear came to my eye when I think about all the sex that I don't get. So let's talk about interpersonal relationships. One of the things I wanted to discuss today was how important is communication in a relationship, and should you tell it all? Should you tell it all? I always wonder about where's the line on what you tell in a relationship. If you in a relationship with somebody else, what don't you talk to? Do you tell everything? How much do you hold back, and what do you hold back? What do you feel like, even in a relationship with the best of communication? What is the stuff that you don't tell? What is the stuff that you don't tell? I feel like the best relationship is gonna be a relationship where you and whoever you're with, y'all can tell each other everything. But do you tell each other everything? Ladies, do you tell? Lots of them said it depends on the relationship and where it's going. If y'all are in a good relationship, man, and y'all might be talking about uh uh meet me at the altar in your white dress. Do you talk about your exes? If you meet somebody, y'all are in a relationship, do you talk candidly about your exes? Do you sit and you tell them, man, I used to, ladies, do you go in and be like, hey man, listen, I used to talk to Big Body Tony. You know, I listen, I used to mess with a brother that was down to his knees, peeing on your knees, peeing on your knees, peeing on your knees, peeing on your knees. And do y'all talk openly about that? Do you tell your other person, man, this is what happened? Yeah, they're ex for a reason, but what's that reason? Why are they there? Do you help calm does that help calm the fears of the other person in the relationship? So for example, if let's say you were about to get married, but you didn't, and you meet another guy, would you talk about the reasons why you were not getting married, that you got married to that person or you didn't get married? Would y'all discuss those things? Would you be like, hey, this is why I didn't marry him. This is why I was going to marry him. Even for the guys, like, yeah, man, I was engaged. I was getting ready to go down the aisle. I didn't do that. La Shuna said, we're not talking about the sex. She said, we can't discuss that. Don't ask, don't tell. We may talk about the ex, but not the sex. Really? So why? Why are we scared? Why can we talk about the ex, not the sex? Why? What's the fear? What's the fear? Do you not want to know that somebody else made your current lover's toes curl? Is that what the issue is? Are you like, hey man, I don't need to know that he could put you on a human pretzel? Does that make you? Would that make you wonder about it? Michelle says she's very transparent. I just remind him, don't ask a question you can't handle the answer to. Tanya says, why even talk about it? What if she tells you he was her best? you talking, and then man and woman, y'all getting it. So is that the fear? Is it the fear that you're gonna hear something that you can't handle? Well, Berta said men can't handle the sex with somebody else. You know they had sex. You meet somebody, they got kids. You meet somebody else, you know they got kids. So you know not only have they done it, they more than likely. I mean, there are some examples of people with children who are virgins, and I get that part. If they got kids, you know they did it with somebody. And not only did they do it, they did it ODB style. Oh baby, I like it raw. And yes, we all like to use the condom broke excuse. And the number of people whose condoms broke in this country is ridiculous. Monique said, "Yeah, they know we had sex, but they don't need to know the details." This is it. You find out that you were her safe option and not her fun option, you're gonna be sick. That's crazy. I never thought about. That's a whole. If you find out, oh, so which one is the better one to have? Which one is the better one to have? Who's the better the better person to be with? I can almost ask this. This is this goes to both. Who's better to have? The option that's a safe option or the one that you really enjoy? I think a lot of people have been in relationships with people that they really just enjoyed it. It was toxic. Oh, you were drinking formaldehyde every day. It was a toxic relationship, but boy, did you enjoy it. You were Joker and Halle Berry. Y'all both had no business being together, but man, did it work. Y'all were Whitney and Bobby. It was a whirlwind. Y'all had the time of y'all lives, but it was toxic. Or here you go, you meet a guy or a girl who does all the things that you're supposed to, treats you with respect. Um, your first relationship, man, y'all was 112. You could do it anywhere, legs up, legs down, throw it in a circle for a reel. But you meet the other person and they safe and it's all missionary. How do you handle that? How do you handle that? How do you handle finding out that she's with you because you the safer option? How do you find out? How do you handle, ladies, that he still wants her a little bit? He's with you. How do you handle, ladies, that you his Mrs. Dash? I mean, you healthy for him, you good, but he still wants salt. Inside, he's yearning for salt, but he just knows that salt is gonna make his blood pressure rise and probably gonna kill him. But man, if he had his druthers about him, he would have that salt woman. You that low calorie, you that low no salt, no sodium substitute. How do you deal with that? How do you handle that? Fellas, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with knowing that she's only really with you and she's learned to enjoy it. She's learned to like it. You're her sugar-free syrup. No, it's not as good as Mrs. Butterworth, but you know what? You eat enough of it, you'll be like, it's okay. It'll be fine. How can you deal with knowing that inside there's really a longing for somebody else? Jane said, as long as I get in the game. They said, as long as I'm here. How do you deal with being, how do you deal with being Zach Wilson when you know all they want is Aaron Rodgers? I don't know if that's a conversation a lot of us are ready to have. I think that would thwart a lot of relationships. I think that's one of the ones you kind of don't want to know. That's that kind of honesty that you don't need. James says everybody wants something else. James, you're a whole married man. So you telling me, yeah, you with your wife, but if all things considered, you know what they say, in a perfect world, you telling me, James, you would be out. There's something else that you want. And you're saying I'm happy here. But the reality is I'm a human and it's something else that I want. That's crazy. Everybody, so James, log off now. That's crazy. Is that true? Does everybody agree with James? Y'all don't have to say it if you're in a relationship and your spouse or a significant other might be watching. But is it true that everybody wants somebody else? Everybody wants something else. Roberta says they want the freakiness. Wilberta? I was not expecting that from Wilberta. Guess that's a question you're not answering. We all had that soul snatcher. Some of us may have had that human idea of what if, but don't jump into that urge. Lasha Una says sometimes. Shannon says that 80-20. It's called lust. James, I have other women I prefer, but I'm super happy where I am. But do you tell what? James, I'm gonna have to bring you on the show one day, not just to talk about your clothing, just to talk about your whole life. No one ever has everything that you desire. So this is crazy because I think a few weeks ago we talked about settling, and everybody was like, "No, don't settle. I'm not gonna settle." This, that, and the third. But now everybody on here is like, "Oh yeah, no. I mean, there's always somebody else that got what you really want." And everybody appreciates Jay's honesty, but everybody else ain't in a relationship with James. Everybody ain't in a relationship with James. James is in a relationship with his wife. If you the wife and you hear Tim said, I'm just here for the comments. If you the wife and you find out that's crazy. If the freakiness is not included in our relationship, it's not true love for me. Then just say, yeah, let y'all man tell y'all that. Y'all in here talking about something, y'all appreciate what James is saying. But let your man come to you and tell you. Let your man come to you and be like, hey, look here, baby. I'm with you, but you're not really what I would prefer. How could you go to your wife or your husband, whichever one it is, or husband and husband? I don't know how that works. But anyway, how do you go to your wife and you be like, hey, honey, listen, reality is if I had my druthers, if I could choose any woman in the world, it wouldn't be you. But I'm happy I got you. Woo. It's always someone better. Wow. So I have a friend of mine, him and his wife, every 6 months, they sit and they discuss with each other. They talk. Should you just lease your wife? Maybe marriage shouldn't be a lifelong thing. I know the Bible says that because I know I saw my pastor, Pastor Shy, come in. Not my pastor, but my good friend Pastor Shy come in. And I know biblically they tell you you're supposed to marry for life, but then they did invent divorce. So there's that. Um, I know you're supposed to marry for life, but should you be able to reevaluate? I always say this, man. It's funny to me. Even in this country, every license you get has to be renewed. Your driver's license, your ID has to be renewed. You're not even yourself for more than 7 years. Think about it. When you get your driver's license, your ID, you only you for a certain amount of time. After a while, your identification expires. You're not even you no more. With that being said, as you run out of being you, marriage license is the only license you ain't never got to renew. Business licenses you got to renew. Driver's license, all those other licenses you got to renew. Marriage license, they be like, this is for life. Maybe marriage licenses ought to expire. Could you imagine the pressure? Could you imagine how a lot of marriages would be if you knew when you got married you're gonna have to renew that wedding license in 7 years? That's the number of completion. Y'all gonna have to go get a whole new one in 7 years, and you're gonna have to decide to remarry that person every 7 years. How different would marriages be? How different would marriages be? When y'all had to sit down that year 6, that coming up free agent year. I think it's gonna be a struggle for a lot of people. Imagine your wife in a contract year, or your husband in a contract year. You really gonna learn a lot. That contract year, that year 7, when it's getting ready, when that marriage license is about to expire, how great are they gonna act that year? It's gonna really show you where they at. Contract year come up, they doing everything. They planning dinners, you getting roses, all kinds of stuff, because they want the contract to continue. Or they don't put forth no effort because they trying to get out of here. They demanding a trade. I knew Pastor Shaw was gonna come in with the Jesus aspect. Marriage is not just a contract, it's a covenant. It's supposed to mimic the relationship between God and his people in the same way that our covenant marriage is with God. It should be the same in marriage. I agree. But I also realize everybody's not Christian. Everybody doesn't have Christian values. Everybody doesn't believe in marriage in the same way. I try to do my show outside of my own personal beliefs. I try to do outside my own personal beliefs, and I know everybody's personal beliefs play a factor in it. So I never would get just like I welcome atheists on the show. I just don't know what y'all say during sex. If you don't believe in God, what do you yell out? You just be yelling out random stuff. What up, though, JP? The question is, how many of us fight the desire to stay married? Marriage has to be a conscious decision daily, right? Also, the Bible was written before Instagram. It's more than it's not the problem is the marriage is people not understanding the true commitment of marriage. It's more than a Christian thing, it's a commitment thing. Y'all make sure y'all check out Pastor Shy. Put in the website and stuff, because Pastor Shy actually has a whole marriage show. They have a marriage show, he and his wife, beautiful wife. I love them together. I love them as a couple. Not in a freaky Los Angeles kind of way. I mean, I just when I look at them, I know how real it is, and I've had conversations with Pastor Shy, so I already know where their relationship has come from, the ups and the downs of their relationship. Like if you heard all the stuff that happened in their relationship, you'd be like, "Yo, they are the model of ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough. They've done it all, gone through a lot of stuff." So y'all go check them out, dopemarriage.com, dopemarriage.com. It's not about Bobby and Whitney. It's not about doing dope while you're married. It's Dope Marriage. He's very hip hop, very 80s, dopemarriage.com. You got to choose to stay married every day. That's what Lasha Unda says. You got to choose to stay married. You don't stay married by accident. You got to wake up every day and be like, boom, I'm going to make the decision. So all of those things are decisions that you have to make consciously. You gotta wake up in the morning and be like, I ain't gonna cheat. I ain't gonna cheat today. When I walk in this office and Big Booty Judy walks by, I have to make the conscious decision. Don't go after it. Don't try to get it. When Large William, better known as Big Dick, walks by, you have to daily decide, I'm not gonna ride that passion pole. I'ma stay away from the baloney pony. He said, I don't believe that you can't get a divorce, but I believe that the people in marriage really want. I just wonder in that contract year, if you had to go and and both of y'all got to sign the renewal paper. That year 7, I want all the married people to think about it. Especially when it first starts. When you first get married, would you have made it through would you have made it to year 8? Would you have renewed your marriage license? Be honest with yourself. Because to me, the people I know that are married, that's the roughest time. Is really those first few years of marriage. Those are the hardest times. People be ready to jump off in the first few years of marriage. Contract year coming up. Would you renew that contract? If that was the option. If you had the option when married, they'd be like, hey man, we'll see y'all again in 7 years. Y'all gotta decide. The first marriage contract should be a 3-year rookie deal with a 4th year option. Al says there's things in a marriage that should be hard. Your heart is not one of them. You shouldn't have a hardened heart. I don't think you can do anything with a hardened heart. I'm pretty sure my doctor is trying to avoid me getting a hardened heart. If there was a renewal process when I was married back then, my answer would be no. Now, Marshane, aren't you divorced anyway? So I think that answer became obvious. That's why I say both people got to get in there. Both of y'all got to want that marriage, and if not, everything is null and void. My wife and I do something every 3 to 5 years called updating the files. It's a time to reevaluate where we are and what we're willing to do to make sure that we're happy. I think that's important. I was going to say I got a friend of mine who like every year, right before the anniversary, I know it's kind of weird, a weird way to go on your anniversary, but they sit and they both talk. Hey man, are we still happy here? Are we still meeting each other's needs? Are these the things that we need to do? They really sit and they talk it out. They be like, hey man, what are you thinking about this marriage? And they went into the marriage knowing and saying to each other, yo, if this thing is not working, if we not making each other happy, hey, we both can, either one of us can walk away. Either one of us can walk away. This is crazy. Now, P Town Jones fam, it is really a family. They all be up here. The wife, the husband. I never know who I'm talking to. They both be on. Sometimes it's just the husband, sometimes just the wife. I think even the kids got the password to this account. We both wanted a divorce at one point. God just made sure it never happened at the same time. That's crazy. How does it? That's crazy. So I'll be honest about me. I don't think that I would be good in a she wants to leave situation. I'm petty. If I find out that she wants to leave, I don't know if I'm gonna fight for her to stay. You gotta watch the type of person that you are. If she comes to me and be like, I don't like it here, I'm gonna be like, hey man, let me go ahead and help you pack these bags up. Let me help you roll out. I've always been that way. I've always been. I'm an only child with one brother. I love making my own decisions. Tim said my wife leaves me about once a week. Hilarious. I've always been about my own decisions. I've always been about having the power. I've always done bad in an ultimatum. If somebody gives me an ultimatum, I'm gonna choose the wrong end of the ultimatum just because you gave me an ultimatum. If you come to me and you be like, do this or I'm out, you might as well be prepared to be out. Even if it's something minuscule. If you don't take this trash out, I'm leaving you. I'm like, well, listen, the trash, you might well be prepared. Because the trash is staying and I'm leaving. I'm gonna always choose the wrong end, even if it hurts me. I ain't never been about that ultimatum life. I can't do it. You can't give me an ultimatum. I don't know how I would work about somebody not wanting to be there because I always feel like your feelings and your emotions are your feelings and your emotions. It's hard to make somebody want you that didn't want you. I mean, first of all, let's go ahead and put our hands together for Ida. Ida said, my husband and I celebrated 50 years of marriage to each other in April. And the reason I married him are the same reasons what we still are. People are looking for marriage, but not a relationship. 50 Ida, we got to congratulate you. 50 years with the same person, man. I would stand up and give you a round of applause, but as y'all know, swing a ling a ling, school bell a ring. I ain't got no pants on underneath here. I stand up, it's gonna be a completely different show. If I stand up, the whole screen's going black. And it's not because of size, it's just because I'm wearing black underwear. 50 years is amazing. But let me ask you this. And this is something that I struggle with or that I even think about. All of us grow as peoples and individuals. Our desires change, our likes change. When I was a kid, I loved oodles and noodles. I could eat oodles and noodles every day. I'm not eating no oodles and noodles now. So as we get older, don't our needs and desires change? It is a well known and documented fact that the older a woman gets, the more revved up she gets. That lady's sex drive gets high when she gets older. The man's it dips low. Dip it low, low, drop it low, low, drop it low, low. After a while, man, listen, a man he goes to let's get it on to just leave me alone, right? So don't our desires, our needs, the things that we like and dislike, they change. That's what's amazing to me about people who can stay together for 50 years. Because you're not the person you shouldn't be, the person that you were 50 years ago. You should have grown, you got different desires, different needs, different dreams, different things of that nature. So what happens? What happens when that person is what happens when that person's growth pattern takes them this way and your growth pattern takes you that way? Do you have to this is an amazing this is a question I want to ask. And this is just real. I'm not asking to put a disparaging light on marriage, but maybe help some people to understand that. When you get married, do you have to give up a little bit of yourself for the marriage every time? Are you not able to really be you because you're in a relationship? I'll go back to using a sports analogy. Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback. Lamar Jackson likes to run. But in order for his team to be successful, he's got to throw the ball, or he's not going to be able to have any receivers. The line can't block the way they can. So we need you to learn how to be a pocket passer. But inside, you just want to take off and run. Do you have to sequester some of yourself? Do you have to stunt your growth a little bit for the best interest of the team? I was like, Lisa, I learned in my 50. I like, Lisa, you ain't been married to nobody for 50 years. Lisa, you are 50. The storms will come. Being true friends will help you survive in a marriage. Candy said, get a tenderoni and train them. That's what I'm talking about. Found a tenderoni and the roni is so right. Listen, just the fact, I'm here's my thing. I've never had sex before, but I realized the question of only being able to have sex with one person rest of your life, that could be daunting to a lot of people. It could be daunting to a lot of people. I know I've had chocolate. Would I only want to eat Twix bars for the rest of my life? I ain't gonna never want to slide over. I ain't never want to slide over to a Hershey's or for a lady a Mr. Good bar. Maybe. I'd have said I lost more of my identity when I became a mother than I did when I became a wife. Wow. Wow. Should I say I don't call it stunting my growth, it's called adding something to my game. Lamar can now run and pass instead of running only. I get it. James's wife is a pastor, author, life coach, and well educated. Everything she is diminished me. Overshadow me, but doesn't diminish me as a man. Just like when we first got married, we had to give up something to become one. The same still goes today after 43 years. Dennis, I know you have been married 43 years, man. That's great. I'm proud of you for that. Pastor Shy, he's got a podcast as well. He just does everything, man. He just did a podcast, and the podcast is called Can We Talk? And he's got one that says, Can men be monogamous? Can men be monogamous? Can men have that same meal forever? I think it's possible. I had a really good question. I should have wrote it down so I could ask it. This relationship thing, I think we helping some people. Here's what I think is gonna be positive about this episode of the show is that other people will be able to tune in and watch it and see it, and it may affect what they got going on in their lives. Here's my last one, and this is gonna be a good one, and this is because of Ida. This question I'm asking because of Ida. In a marriage, and I'm talking about a marriage, you guys get married, you start to have kids, things of that nature. Who's more important? Who and what is more important? Your parenting or your marriage? Where are you putting the 100% into? I know ideally, I know ideally you would love to have equal. You'd be like, oh man, I work equally on both. Which one is the most important relationship for you to nurture? Is it your parenting relationship or your spousal relationship? I've always felt like this. This has been me, right? This has always been me. I've always been me. I've always been like I'm more concerned about being a parent. I've always made the comment of this, and I've heard other people tell me the same thing. No matter what, those kids is my kids. They can't unbe my kids. Your spouse can get up in the morning and be like, I ain't your spouse no more. The bond and connection between you and your kids is permanent. Permanent. Candy says the family is a package deal. Permanent. They always gonna be your kids. So what's more important? Jane says if you nurture a marriage, parenting will always become better. Y'all married people, married with children. Y'all Al Bundy, married with children. I'm gonna ask y'all this question. We ain't gotta be super deep on it, but I just kind of want to know as we wrap up, as we close. You realize you got money for one vacation in the year. Husband, you the breadwinner. Wife, you the breadwinner. You the one that makes the money. You can only do one vacation in the year. Do you take the vacation with your spouse or your kids? My girl Brandy's in here. And she's new to both. Brandy, very good for me. One of my favorite people in the whole world, man. Her mom, two of my favorite people in the whole world. New to both marriage and parenting, but is able to come in and be like, marriage is multifaceted. Parenting is a part of the marriage. I'm a parent first. If you can't take but that one vacation, who gets the vacation? Who gets the vacation? Marseille said FTK. Look at all the questions coming in. How old are the kids? Let's say they young. They 5, 6-year-olds. You got on the table Disney World for the kids or that resort for you and the spouse. Disney World or Jamaica, where they going? You said that you changing the question, La Shunda. The question was you can only take one. Spouse. And there it is. F them kids. Husband. We out. It's us. You doing too much when you talking about the minute getaway. You only have money for a minute getaway. The only thing that you got, the only time your whole year, you work 358 days of the year. You get 7 days. You can take one vacation. It's gonna be the kids or the spouse. It looks like everybody say F them kids. Lasha Una said, might well take that husband, make him happy, because them kids gonna grow up and leave you. And they're gonna be going on their own vacations. Kids next year. No. I don't even know. It ain't gonna be no next year. I see what y'all love that spouse more than y'all love them kids. I think a great answer was we'll alternate years. 1 year for the kids, next year for us. Y'all love that spouse more than them kids. We gonna do a whole spouse or kids. Spouse or kids. That's great. I ain't even gonna ask y'all the ultimate question. The ultimate question. The question that's gonna get everybody in trouble. I'm gonna ask it. Then I'm out. I'm gonna ask it, and then I'm out. Gunman in the house. The gunman says somebody's got to die. It's the biggest smalls. And the answer cannot be you. It's not gonna be you. Somebody's got to die. Who you saving? Denzel saw it. Denzel knew it was coming. Who you saving? You saving your spouse or you saving them kids? You saving the spouse Are you saving the kids? Marshall said, I'm saving my kids. Michelle said, bye-bye, spouse. It'll be an amazing funeral. James, you put that for the legacy part on the end in case your wife saw it. Would come and go. Good goo. And the kids all day. Wow. It's the kids. Even if the kids grown, even if the kids is grown, we still choosing the kids. Kid. Man, tell you what, spouses, y'all ain't got no choice out there. You got nothing, spouses. If you out here being a spouse, you might well hang it up. The first sign of trouble, they saving them kids and they out. Michelle, I don't even know we got a topic. We just been all over the place. Oh, they was 5 and 6 at first. I'm just saying, what does them being grown change saving my kids? If you got grown kids and of course an adult spouse, and the same question, are you still saving the kids? Well, Berta said that spouse is on his own. On my own. How did it end this way? Chase said, let them kids go. They grown. They been in my pocket. Man, I love y'all, man. This is a great show. I don't care what nobody say, man. I appreciate y'all. This show is great because y'all make it great. I ain't too much. I don't do too much, man. I ain't that great of a guy, man. I'm not that talented, that gifted. But y'all make this show amazing, man. And so I appreciate y'all for coming through and making the show what it is, man. I really do, man. Thank y'all so much for making me drag myself out of the bed in my drawers every morning. Worth it. Y'all make it worth it. Y'all really do, man. There's probably only one other thing that I would get out of the bed early in the morning in my drawers for every morning. And you guys are one of the two. Michelle said it's FTK regardless of what the topic is. It's always FTK. Hilarious. Hilarious. I'm getting ready to get out of here, man. Remember, man, it's hunching. You know what the hunching is about? The hunching is about making somebody feel good. So that's what I want y'all to do today. Make somebody feel good, even if making somebody feel good is that somebody is just you. Make sure you make somebody feel good today. I think it'll be worth it, man. In the end, I think in the end, it'll all be great if we make somebody feel good today. And if nobody's made an opportunity to make you feel good, let me let you know that you're worth it. You're special. You are uniquely created, and you are divine. I love you if nobody else does. Just know that. I love you if nobody else does. I'm out of here, man. We'll see. We'll try this again on tomorrow. Thanks for watching. It is See You in the Morning. Peace.
Kick your shoes off, take a load off. Don't go nowhere till the show's off. Oh, you know it's gonna be a movie when you got Clayton's Cassidy on your TV. Yeah, already know Mr. Funny Man. Coming to you and making you laugh again. Started off on the radio, now we got the Clayton's Cassidy Show. Funny Man, coming to you and making you laugh again. Started off